Good evening. Welcome to the Foxborough High School World Language Honor Society's induction ceremony. Please welcome tonight's inductees. The American Sign Language Honor Society inductees will sign the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Please welcome Senorita Smith, Foxborough High School's World Language Head.
Thank you. Good evening, Foxborough families and members of administration and faculty. Welcome, Honor Society members and inductees. Tonight, we celebrate the new inductees to the American Sign Language, French, and Spanish Honor Societies. We celebrate your dedication to language learning, and we recognize that it has been a journey that for you may have begun as in the elementary Spanish program, or you may have begun your journey in grade 7 French, or maybe for you it began as a freshman in ASL. But language learning is a journey. The American author Robert Collier said that success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. I feel this sentiment rings true for language learning. Your teachers know how you contribute to your language class day in and day out. And your families know the time spent at home preparing assignments or consuming videos on YouTube in the target language day in and day out. I recently received an email from a former student who reflected on her days spent in my Spanish class over 20 years ago. As an adult, she has come to appreciate the effort that was expected of her day in and day out as a student in my Spanish class. She wrote the following. Hello, Senorita. It has been over 20 years since our last interaction, but I find myself in a situation I must share with you. 7 months ago, my husband, 2 kids, and I moved to Barcelona. We live in an amazing neighborhood by the sea. I use my Spanish every day, and even though I took a few courses in college, most of what I know comes from what I learned in your classes all those years ago. As an adult, I recognize what a huge pain in the butt I was on our European trip together. Please know that your suffering was not in vain. I have lived in 5 different countries, speak 6 different languages to varying degrees, and have traveled around the world twice. Good teachers make it safe for us to follow our curiosities, and the toughest teachers are those that care the most. I just wanted to thank you for your work, and I hope you are doing well. I received this email over February break while on the Spanish exchange in Valencia. It was wonderful to hear from this student, and it's wonderful to know that she feels her time spent in my class was time well spent. Language learning is challenging because you need to show up every day. You need to listen or watch with the intent to understand because your teacher is speaking with you in either ASL, French, or Spanish. You need to come to class daily, willing to take risks, and willing to accept that mistakes are part of the learning process. And lastly, you need to come to class ready to speak or sign in your second language so that your partner or your group mates have a good experience. We celebrate you all tonight, and I express my appreciation for you all. You are the students that make that small effort every day. You participate in class, you answer the question, what did you do this weekend? You're curious and you ask questions, and you embrace other cultures, and you make connections to other disciplines. Your repeated small efforts have led to tonight's success of becoming an ASL, French, or Spanish National Honor Society member. So congratulations on this achievement, and 20 years from now, we hope to hear from you as you share your future successes with us. Thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Senorita Smith. We will now begin the induction of our 2025 American Sign Language Honor Society students. Inaugurated in 2006, the ASL Honor Society is an official program sponsored by the National American Sign Language Teachers Association to encourage and recognize high academic achievement in ASL studies. The students to be honored here tonight are part of an elite group of students from across the United States and Canada. Out of the hundreds of students learning ASL each year, these students here tonight have persevered and maintained the highest grade point averages and have pursued excellence. For these reasons, they are inducted into the Foxborough chapter of the American Sign Language Honor Society.
The inductees will now sign an oath, a public commitment to the study of American Sign Language, the deaf community, and its culture. Please stand. As a student of American Sign Language, I understand that language can be a powerful connection between peoples of different cultures and backgrounds, bringing them together. Henceforth, I am proud to commit to being a steadfast ally of the deaf community. I pledge to encourage deaf and hearing peoples to come together in unity throughout the world. Lastly, I will reflect the ideals of the American Sign Language Honor Society in scholarship, community service, and personal excellence.
Candles have a long history in the Honor Society. They symbolize learning and understanding and serve to illuminate the darkness of ignorance. Inductees, you may now light your candles. You are now members of the American Sign Language Honor Society. We're proud to welcome you and hope you continue to pass your love to American Sign Language on to others. Congratulations. You may now put out your candles. I'm saying listen. As your name is called, please come forward and receive your certificate of membership in the American Sign Language Honor Society.
Vivian Benall.
Mia Flanagan.
Aiden Gill.
Catherine Grace.
Anne Marie Janus.
Ava Lopez.
Keegan McGuire. Samantha McAuliffe.
Brooke Resnick.
Sydney Ta.
Zach Townsend.
Congratulations to each of you. You may now take your seat in the audience.
I would now like to introduce members of the French Honor Society. Abby Bancroft, Jack Gilmartin, Suresh Krishnan, Maggie Lavery, and Caden Huderoin.
Before starting our induction ceremony, we would like to recognize and honor the students who have demonstrated interest in the promotion and advancement of the purposes, values, and goals of our French Honor Society. They will be participating in the Foxborough High School French Exchange Program in April while traveling to Normandy, France. Please join me in welcoming the following students to come forward and receive a certificate of recognition for your ambassadorship. Lucas Bedrekis. Abigail Bancroft. Maria Alejandra Carrasco Ramirez. Victoria Kusha. Jaden Enright. Devin Hoyt. Caden Huderoin. Maya Kaiser. Maggie Lavery. Ainsley McWilliams. Elizabeth McWilliams. Nicholas Mello. Aaron O'Malley. Emma Rigo. Veronica Swiden. And Brendan Werns. La Société Honoraire de Français was established through presidential order by the American Association of Teachers of French in 1949 for secondary school students. Our chapter will be known as Guerrières Dorées, Golden Warriors, and our motto is Avoir une autre langue, c'est posséder une deuxième âme. To have another language is to possess a second soul.
The establishment of a national chapter of the Société Honoraire de Français at high schools throughout the nation provides an opportunity to recognize outstanding scholarship in the study of French. It is also a vehicle for focusing activities around the French language and culture. The students being inducted this evening are being honored for their linguistic achievement as well as their appreciation and enthusiasm for the French language and culture. Please stand with your candle. S'il vous plaît, levez-vous avec vos bougies.
La course du flambeau est une cérémonie qui avait lieu à Athènes dans la Grèce antique. Pour cette solennité, des citoyens s'espaçaient, formant une sorte de chaîne. Le premier allumait un flambeau à l'autel, courait le transmettre à un second, qui le transmettait à un troisième.
The transmission or handing on of the torch is a ceremony which used to take place in ancient Greece. For this solemn occasion, the citizens lined up at equal distances, one from the other, forming a sort of chain. The first one in line lighted the torch at the altar, ran to transmit it to a second, who transmitted it to a third.
Et ainsi, de main en main, chaque citoyen courait sans regarder en arrière, préservant la flamme qu'il allait remettre à un autre. Platon a reconnu dans cette course de flambeau l'image des générations de la vie.
Thus, from hand to hand, each citizen ran without a backward glance, keeping alive the flame which he was to hand to another. Plato recognized, in this running with a torch, the image of the new succeeding generations of life.
Please light your candles. Please come forward as I call your name to receive your certificate. Charlotte Bancroft. Adam Bugusa. Hannah Courtney. Janesha Haygood. Benjamin Lavoy. Ryan McGuire. Viom Patel. Emma Rigo. Cameron Rice. Addison Rumsey. It is with great pride that we welcome you to the members of Le Nouveau Chapitre de la Société Honoraire de Français. Bienvenue et félicitations.
I would now like to introduce Sampreet Viduri, Nola Gooch, and Luca Meyer from the Spanish National Honor Society, who will induct their new members.
Members old and new of this Hispanic Society, greetings. My name is Sampreet Viduri, President of the Sociedad Honoraria Hispánica Guerreros Dorados. We are gathered here tonight for the initiation of this group of students who have shown and proven a deep interest in the beautiful Spanish language and culture. Let us listen to our Vice President, Nola Gooch, who will give us a short summary of the history and purposes of our society.
This Spanish Honor Society was founded by the American Association of Teachers in Spanish and Portuguese in 1953 for the students of North American secondary schools, and this chapter is due to the efforts of Spanish teacher Mrs. Irene Titmus, who established it in 2014. The name of this chapter is Guerreros Dorados. Our motto is All Together, Todos a Una. Our colors are red and gold. Our insignia and seal are those of the Mother Association.
Before starting our induction ceremony, we would like to recognize and honor students that have demonstrated interest in the promotion and advancement of of the purposes, values, and goals of our Spanish Honor Society. They recently participated in the FHS Spanish Exchange Program and traveled to Valencia, Spain. Please help me welcome the following students. They will receive our honorary membership. Ronan Callahan, Seamus Fitzgerald, Sophia Ladani, Julia Luck, Sophia Pacella, Nyla Penders, Lauren Scher, Stevie Strahan, and Henry Thies. Remember, you are always welcome to join us and help us reach our goals. Thank you for this great accomplishment. Now, we are going to be quiet. This is our initiation, serious and significant. Let's all listen carefully. This is our mother candle. That is our mother candle. It serves us each year, and it represents inspiration.
As an example of this inspiration, Luca Meyer, our secretary, will share with you the words of the poet Gaspar Núñez de Arce, who wrote the poem Excelsior.
¿Por qué los corazones miserables? ¿Por qué las almas viles en los fieros combates de la vida ni luchan ni resisten? El espíritu humano es más constante cuanto más se levante. Dios puso el fango en la llanura y puso la roca en la montaña. La blanca nieve que en los hondos valles derrite se ligera, en las altivas cumbres permanece inmutable y eterna. And this poem translates as, why do humble spirits, why do lowly souls in the fierce combats of life neither struggle nor resist? The human spirit is more constant the more it rises. God put mud in the lowland, and he put rock on the mountains. The white snow, which in the deep valleys melts quickly, on the high peak remains unchangeable and eternal.
Students, you can come on stage now. Please grab the candles underneath your seats. Each has a candle in his or her hand. This typifies our course of life. Thus, without burning, it exists, but does not live. That candle is saying, if they burn me, I live. If not, I die. May our lives never be candles unburned. Now, each of you will come, in turn, to this mother candle to receive from its symbolic flame, the flame which symbolizes with its heat the inspiration toward high ideals. Each will come forward on hearing his or her name.
I have the honor of presenting these candidates whose names are Ruby Blair, Kara Coles, Kira Darcy, Sia Makecha, Chloe McGarry, Ava Picard, Colin Trimble, James Watts, and John Anderson.
Now, you will repeat the oath of the society, phrase by phrase. Repeat after me. Como miembro. We'll try that again. Como miembro del capítulo Guerreros Dorados, prometo dedicarme al estudio de la lengua española con el fin de dominarla algún día, recordando que una lengua puede ser un lazo fuerte entre personas de distintos orígenes, de raza o religión, como ciudadano de mi patria, prometo promover la amistad y el entendimiento entre ella y los otros países del mundo. Esta es mi promesa y mi juramento. Now, each will extinguish the flame of his or her candle one by one, but never that of your spirit. Let us remember this. All right, blow your candles. All right. Friends, by the authority granted me by the presidency of the Guerreros Dorados chapter, I declare you members of this chapter. Come forward now to receive in turn your certificate and to receive the welcome due you. Ruby Blair. Kara Cowles. Kira Darcy. Sia McKetcha. Chloe McGarry. Ava Picard. Colin Trimble. James Watts. And John Anderson. Felicitaciones. Congratulations to all. Thank you. Now, for our closing remarks, I would like to introduce Mr. Joseph Scazzaro, FHS Assistant Principal. Thank you.
Gracias. Merci. Okay. Good evening and congratulations to all the inductees. My name is Joe Scazzaro, Assistant Principal here at FHS. Before I begin, I would also like to recognize all the families here tonight and express appreciation on behalf of your students for all your patient guidance and support of these wonderful human beings over the years for us here tonight. So thank you, parents. When I was invited to speak here tonight, I enthusiastically accepted for no other reason than because my life was changed by the study of world languages. If you will indulge me for a few minutes, I'd love to share a little bit of my story in hopes that it might nudge you for a little further along in your own study of your chosen language and culture. In Italian, there's a famous proverb that goes something like this: Chiusa una porta, si apre un portone. This translates roughly to when one door closes, another one opens. The crux of the message here is that you should always look for opportunities when you encounter opportunities, and when you encounter the opportunity, you should take it. I studied Spanish in high school. I had a wonderful teacher who was Cubana, and I enjoyed the class very much. But when I got to college, I discovered that there were many other languages offered because it was a big college. And so I began to look around for another language. I asked around, and I had a good friend of mine who had taken Italian class, and he implored me to take Italian too. He said it was a small department with a few really good profs, and the prof who taught Italian 1 and Italian 2 was a young teacher from the south of Italy who made the class really fun. So I was hooked. What my friend loved was that the teacher would work hard to make the class feel like a social group, and the class often met for dinners, and while at dinner at the table, they would speak in Italian. Terrifying, yet intriguing. So I closed the door on my study of Spanish, and another door opened, and I entered the classroom of Professor Gianfranco Balestriere of Ischia. I loved the class, and I ended up taking 4 semesters of Italian. And by the end, I was able to chit-chat at the table with my teacher and my classmates. A few years later, after graduating, I landed a job teaching English at a middle school in my hometown. During the first summer as a teacher, I had an opportunity to work in an international summer camp in Switzerland, just over the Alps from Italy. I walked through that door, and I loved working with kids and other counselors from all over the world. I became friends with a small group of Italian guys who loved to play soccer and volleyball in their free time, and these friends may have been slightly impressed by my ability as an Americano to parlare in Italiano. But mostly they had great fun making fun of all my mistakes. This helped me laugh at myself and learn from my mistakes. When you stop taking it all so seriously, you can laugh at yourself and learn the intricacies of humor in the target language. From Switzerland, I had an opportunity to take over a lease on a small apartment in Bologna, Italy. The following year, I made the decision to close the door on teaching middle school in my hometown, and I walked through the door of this apartment in Bologna, Italy. I knew no one in Bologna, Italy, but I made it work. I found a job at a language school, and I began working as an English teacher to Italian adults learning English. Chiusa una porta, si apre un portone. While working there, I became friends with another teacher who was from Hungary. He had an English mom and a Hungarian dad, and he grew up in Berlin. He had been teaching both English and German at the school for a few years, and he was kind of like the shift leader of all the teachers. So one evening after classes, he invited me to join his German class out at a local osteria for dinner. Terrifying, but intriguing. I was nervous because I didn't speak German. I didn't know any of the German students. But I said, what the heck, I'll give it a try. I accepted the invitation and I went out to dinner with him, and I met the class at the osteria. At that dinner, I met an Italian young woman who was majoring in lingue straniere at the local university, concentrating on German and English. I got her name and her number out of an abundance of smoothness, and in the weeks after that dinner, I began calling her frequently to ask her out on a date in Italian. Long story short, this Italian student who studied German at this local language school is now my wife. We've been married for many years, and we have 3 kids who are now also students of world languages, just like you. So when I think back on my life, I can't help being amazed at how many times I was lucky to have an amazing opportunity. Chiusa una porta, si apre un portone. FHS inductees into ASL, French, and Spanish honor societies, when a new door opens, go through it. Thank you for having me, and buonasera. And I would like to invite you all to come into the lobby to enjoy some cake. Thank you.
It worked out. If anyone needs that, just an acceptable time to do so, but of course, please feel free to take some cake. Félicitations tout le monde. C'est